Well, I mean, every album, that I do, I try to make different from the next. And like this record, we have songs that range from just traditional blues to like again we're using the Greek scale and the Celtic scale, and again it's all. I mean, like when you talk about it, it's like to me it's just the difference between a half step. Like here's your pentatonic, normal pentatonic blues scale, be like. And there's your normal scale right there. But then, like you could easily like kind of go into different modes, and again, it all kind of to me marries really well. So you can see, I mean, it's like, to me, it's just, it's pretty simple. And, again, I can't make an album that's 12 tracks of all the same, So I would get bored doing it. So, I mean, we put in different melodies and different structures. And, hopefully it's as enjoyable for the fan to listen to as it is, for me to make it, Well, it's a fantastic honor, for a guy of B.B. King's stature to think enough of you to want to play on your record. Yeah, I mean, I was nervous when somebody like that listens to your song. But no, he really liked the version, because we did a different version than has been done in the past. And he really liked that version of it. So the fact that he, we put in a key that he was comfortable with, and boy, he just, at 83 years old, it's like amazing how good he is, still. It's really, it's really, extraordinary. So I met Danny Gatton at the Blues Festival. I met him at it's like a place, and he would show me like the. So like all that kind of stuff, and that was like like lessons. And it was some of it's country and some of it was jazz. I mean, like it'd be like he goes, you know a lot about the blues. We don't know anything about like swing music and jazz and proper Charlie Christian and and Les Paul, the actual guy. A lot of kids my age don't go, what he's the late Les Paul, but a lot of people knew he was actually a guy. So like before it, like my life went from like mono to stereo, and I'm really playing it. Whatever that is, and like I'm playing like all this like Les Paul and playing Cherokee and all these kind of like really weird, in tune, they're even. And what it is, it's like it's like this hybrid country thing, and I found it very useful in the blues, and I thought it was really cool. I love that man. He was my friend, and like you look back at your life and your associations with guys like Danny Gatton and Tom Dowd and all these these legendary people, and they just befriended me when I was young and believed they. I always just say it's like I don't even think they saw the diamond in the rough. I think they saw the little pebble in the stream that may eventually become the diamond that becomes the diamond in the rough and will become something. They saw something, about my playing that early on that they dug and stuck with. So and thought enough of me to actually, take me under their wings. Well, I don't think there is a great part of it. I think it's a million different ideas interpreted all at the same time, and it's think about guitar playing. It's like you have your blues influences. You're playing like B.B. King, and then all of a sudden you have your rock stuff, and you have your jazz, and all of a sudden it's about how you put your phrases together and how it speaks to people through the amp. guitarist's ability is the control they have over the vibrato and the control they have over the bends. Are your bends in tune? You know, is it that, or you know, it's like that's the real, you know, that's the real trick in it, and it's very tactile because you can. Like, everybody who plays guitar in this room can play that same note differently. You know? Like a very simple phrase, but you can pass the guitar around and everybody make it sound differently. And I think that's why the guitar has such a wide appeal. One being that when I was a kid, I decided I wanted to learn to play in every key and every fret. So if you play, take G. So that's G in every fret. Now you take that and go to F. All the way up to net. So for me, so if I ever get stuck, if I'm like playing here, your brain goes into neutral, which it does on occasion, and everybody has it. You know, I know there's an F here. Or I can go up, you know. There's always an out. So if you're stuck here and you're like going, you can kind of like get yourself out of the mistakes. And then you call the little mistakes jazz, and you're great. You're on the cover of Guitar Player magazine. That's my secret right there. Try to practice what I'm like doing. Probably start with sometimes without a pick. So I just kind of like do a mixture of chords and lead playing, you know. I mean, I tend to do this thing where I change octaves pretty fast. So I practice that a lot, you know, you start a phrase. You finish it on the bottom. And like my hands, because I've been flying all over creation, are like really swollen today. But generally, a good way to get out of that is you know, you play these like big stretch chords. And like, it's my favorite demonstration at a guitar clinic, like, you know, that's E. So, but it's also good to kind of like get the, lack of a better term, lactic acid out of your, you know, joints and stuff. So it's good to play those kind of chord things. And, yeah, it just kind of like loosens you up. And you want to kind of go out there loose and not like, you don't want to grab and shake. You want to just kind of like just play, you know. But the guitar is an extension of your personality. The guitar is an extension of basically your emotions, and it should be at its best an unfiltered conduit from what you're feeling deep down inside to the audience. You know, if you're feeling like really happy, you're probably playing. And if you're if you're being angry, you're going. And there's a difference. And it's like guitar can be used as a weapon. It can be used to rule the world. It can be used to make people cry. It can also bring the greatest joy. Are infinite. And it really is up to you to kind of paint with that brush that you've been given, which is basically a Gibson Les Paul.